How's it going, everybody? And welcome back to another edition of the Stupid Questions podcast. You may notice my voice sounds a little funny. I am battling a cold sickness here on November 26th, so I apologize for that. Also, this is the final episode for, I guess, what we can call our first official season, even though it's been a year and 4 months. I'm going to be taking a break. This is airing on December 12th, and we are not going to have any recordings for 4 weeks straight. So make sure to check out the fourth week on our Instagram, and you'll be able to see when we have our next episode coming out. So thank you so much for joining in and being with me along this journey. It has been a true blessing and an honor. So today we're going to be talking, though, with Marc Dubrick. This is the round 2 interview. He's on RTS. He's a professional triathlete. He's obviously a close friend now. Got to know him over the past year and a half doing the lives on Instagram. If you haven't checked those out, make sure to check them out. The Roulette Live, Marc Dubrick, and the Stupid Questions podcast. But yeah, without further ado, just want to introduce you to my good friend again, Marc Dubrick. Thank you so much, and enjoy. Like, 2 days ago, I was like, oh, fitness is feeling good. I'm feeling great, about to taper down. This is all going to work out perfectly. And now I'm like sick. I'm like, well, I guess it's all gone. It's all done.
No, it won't be
Missed half
gone.
a
Just start your
session.
taper now. Just pump that vitamin C, get the good sleep,
Yeah.
eat well. You'll be
If
fine.
if you got sick 2 weeks out, would you start tapering then? Like, or would you try to get better and then do a little extra sharpening stuff after?
Definitely. It just depends on how sick I was.
Yeah.
How weak I would definitely be go off feel. It would be a day by day thing.
Yeah.
I know I wouldn't probably start a full taper. I have a quality day, a short quality day tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're
But 4 days out
taper
from.
Yeah, obviously it's not a huge day, but it's my standard pre race tune up ride. So it's only probably an hour and a half, but I don't even know. Yeah, it's not big, but it just depends on how you're feeling. Even right now I'm going day by day with my coach simply because of the big travel. All is good, but those first days after that 36-hour travel was just me and my coach, his name's James, texting back and forth, hey, how you feeling? All right, let's do this. Or, all right, this is the goal, but listen to your body. That was the long run, the day after I got here. He's like, all right, here's the max you can do. And if you're not feeling well, cut it. And I ended up cutting almost all of it because I was cramping a little bit in my quads, hamstrings. I just didn't do enough
Really?
mobility probably after the flight. But I've still able to do easy jogging for an hour 20, so that's totally fine.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, you are traveled across the pond. Where are you at?
Currently, I am in Busselton, Australia. It's Western Australia.
Okay.
And it took me 36 hours door to pool. I went straight to the pool after the travel. But it's absolutely beautiful here. I guess it's the 20th year of having a race in Busselton. So it's 2 hours south of Perth. For people who don't know where Busselton is, it's on the far west side. So opposite of Sydney, opposite of Melbourne, I guess, opposite of Sunshine Coast, all of that. And it's the capital. I guess it's it's one of the most remote capitals of, I forget what the stat was. Remote capitals of a country. And it's beautiful. So obviously we're in their spring. I'm sitting outside right now. Ended up coming a little earlier than I was initially planning. Just because of the travel and there's birds everywhere. There was a bird that came and grabbed something.
Bees in Arizona, and then now it's birds.
Birds, yeah, the magpies here. I have yet to encounter one, but I've seen videos and the stories of obviously in Australia, but here specifically. So I came a little early. I'm with this guy Ollie. He's a pro as well. He's a medical student, and his roommates all moved out, so he had 2 extra rooms. So I'm here until today. Sick. I had already booked a non-refundable Airbnb with Ben Hamilton, I think, who was on your pod. So he's getting in today, and we'll be moving to a different Airbnb. But yeah, it's beautiful here. I could definitely live in Australia.
Yeah, this is your first time in the land down under?
Yeah, first time. and then it'll be my first time in New Zealand. Be heading that way for Worlds in a week or less than a week now.
Yeah, wow. What is the furthest you've ever traveled from home aside from this trip? Like, is it? I'm assuming this is the furthest, but what's
Yeah,
your
this or
other? I guess.
China was a good travel. I forget what it was though. I think that was 24 hours, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, it's a long
China,
haul.
I think. I'm trying to think what continents I had. Just Alaska, I guess, or not Alaska. Sorry, Antarctica is the other continent I need. But that's it.
Yeah,
I've been to
yeah.
Africa.
I've
Like,
seen some. Have you seen? There's this guy. His name Anders Hoffman. I don't know if you're familiar with Yes Theory, but he did a partnership thing with them where he did and made a film out of it called Iceman, where he did a full length Iron Man on the continent of
yeah,
Antarctica.
yeah,
Have you
I
seen
remember
that?
this. Haven't seen it, but I've heard of it.
Dude, you gotta watch it. It's crazy. Like,
Like,
obviously it's cold,
yeah.
but when he's swimming, like I don't want to give too much away, but when he's swimming, he swims and then he gets on land, and then when they're reviewing the footage for editing, they realized that there was a lion or leopard seal like
Oh no.
chasing him down there at the end, kind of like circling around, just am I gonna eat this guy? Because they're pretty gnarly creatures,
Oh,
like
they're
big.
like some of the craziest. I used to be
Yeah,
obsessed with like the Animal Planet, Planet Earth, all that stuff. So
yeah,
also kind of cool coming to Australia because a lot of it was here, filmed here. Obviously, like Steve Irwin or Jeff Corwin, those two guys.
yeah,
Um, so I grew up watching them, and then the leopard
yeah.
seals. Yeah, if you see, have you seen Eight Below, the movie? With
Is that what the
it's with the dogs.
dogs?
It's
No.
with
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
it's
think
with
I have seen it a long time ago.
what's his face? Need for Fast and Furious, Paul Walker.
Oh, Paul Walker. Yes, I
So
remember this movie.
there's a leopard seal in there. That's like the antagonist of the dogs to the dogs.
I forgot about that. Dude, that movie, 2006, that's when that movie
It's a
came
good
out. That's a
movie, I
long time
think.
ago. Yeah, I thought it was good. I don't really remember. I remember some dogs died or he like has to put a dog down or something like that,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
yeah.
sad. But other
Yeah.
than that, yeah, coming down to the end of the 2024 season, we did obviously we've been doing the lives, so people have kind of been
Mhm.
somewhat following along with
Yeah.
what's going on in the triathlon world. And but yeah, end of the season coming up for me. You're going to Taupo. I'll see you in a week.
Mhm.
Um,
Yes.
and then let's see, when was the last, when did I do the first pod? Because this is podcast number 2.
Oh, you know what? Let me look it up really quick,
Yeah,
because I can pull up Spotify.
not sure if you're doing an
Mark
intro or
Dubrick.
what, or do we just jump right into this, shooting the breeze right away?
I will do an intro afterward, but for the sake of our lives, I mean I can do an intro just because we're so used to it. What do you remember what number you were though? I'm looking this
No,
up. I'm
I don't
scrolling back.
remember actually.
It was early.
It was early
Here, I'm
days.
pull
Early
up.
days on. Oh, actually, I'm glad I just remembered to tell you this. Um, or not Caitlin Alexander, Grace Alexander is staying here as well. Do you know the name? American
Grace
triathlete,
Alexander.
Grace Alexander. She lives in
I
Greenville.
do know this name.
Um, so
Oh yes, 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 yes,
she
yes. I know
gave
who you're
you
talking
a
about now.
big compliment on your podcast. She's like, "There's not many
Oh really?
podcasts I can listen to, triathlon related podcasts or whatever on like the bike."
Mm-hmm.
She said, "You have good audio. You're professional. Like it's interesting." So yeah, just pass
Oh
along a
well.
compliment that she said about your podcast.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, no, it's been super fun. Grace, thank you so much if you are listening on the bike, wherever you may be. I
She
really
is out
appreciate
running
that.
right
It's
now,
been
but I'll tell her. I'll tell her you gave her a compliment. I'll tell her you said thank you.
yeah, for sure. Sorry, I'm fighting this voice thing. Um, yeah, just a real quick comment,
Puberty.
and then
Sorry,
we'll go back to your first. Do what?
you're going. But no,
It's my cough. I'm literally dying. I have to drink some water. Um, but I'll jump back to what episode you were. It was number 17. We'll talk about that in a second.
lucky number 17.
Um, yeah, but it's crazy. Like, so I've been doing the podcast now for a year and say July, August, September, October, November, a year and 4 months, and it's been cool to obviously see the growth. But there's like this handful of people who are like really invested and like message me. I would say almost weekly on like commenting, reviewing, like trying to add value back where they can, messaging me guest, that maybe someone I should reach out to, giving suggestions. And that's always really exciting to me because in my previous work, like when I started one of my first businesses, Sway, making these insulated hammocks, I had like a small group of people, and it's cool to see that like doing something else that can kind of happen. And one thing I have learned is when you can create something, whatever you're doing, and you have a small core community, it's like those ultra promoters that will help grow and kind of stoke that fire over time. So I've been really humbled by it. Like we're not huge by any mean. Like it's so funny because I'll just tell everybody, um, we're doing like tens of thousands of downloads or like 20s of thousands of downloads of all time. And then I'm talking to Kyle Glass over Pro Tri News, and they're doing like 20,000 to 50,000 an episode.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah,
It
I
is
mean, he's
crazy.
the most popular. Him and the Triathlon Hour have to be the two most popular triathlon related podcasts.
Yeah,
Not that yours is
100%.
triathlon
But
related, but like you obviously
yeah,
branch out to
no. It's
everything.
yeah, and it's been good to learn that stuff because like Chris Williamson with Modern Wisdom, Joe Rogan, Lex Friedman. If anybody knows these names, like I follow them pretty closely, like not just in the podcast, but those people to like see their growth. And most of them, it was like 3 years of making a bunch of stuff for literally nobody, and then now they'll have more downloads slash followers gains in a day than they did like up in the previous 4 years.
Right. Yeah, that is crazy
So
to see. And once that momentum starts, just like a snowball, hopefully.
it's never gonna stop.
But yeah, I like
Yeah,
what you said about that, like that crew, like that like close group you have around
yeah,
you, that core
community.
group community. And
Mm.
it's the same with triathlon, right? You got your family, hopefully, you got your coach, you got your teammates, and then you just try to like stack a layer, sponsors, all this, and then yeah, hopefully that momentum snowball just never stops until you decide you're done.
Yeah, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And so, along with that, like you have definitely snowballed. The last episode I had you on was episode 17, and it was November 2023. So it's been exactly 1 year
Yep, I remember.
since having you on.
I was in the basement of Rachel and Andre's house. I remember actually, I
Yeah,
think that was with you. We were having internet connections, and we had to
yeah,
reschedule, I believe.
yeah. You just got a new phone.
Oh, for real? That was this phone.
Yeah, that was that phone. So
Let's
full
go.
circle. Are you
Full
getting a new
circle.
phone this year?
Wait, I had just gotten the phone before the pod, or like I
Well,
was
yeah.
trying
So
to do
we
it on
re,
my
I,
phone.
we Yeah, we rescheduled. I think once because your phone was like it was too old, and then
Yeah.
another time. Did we reschedule twice because you had a computer issue too?
Yeah, everything was old. That's right. I think not long after that first podcast, I got a new phone and a new computer because I did the
Yeah,
computer on Black Friday last year.
yeah. That's
And
right.
then I couldn't update Chrome anymore, and I needed Chrome for the Riverside, and same with the phone. Dang. So I've come a long way with sports, but it's
Yeah,
my
and now you're a millionaire,
and
and you have
now
all these things that you can just afford seamlessly. So congratulations.
it's all credit debt. It's all debt.
It's all credit debt. What has been going? Like, how has your life changed in the past year? Like some of the big things, even the small things that have been meant something to you.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's hard to like probably should have been more prepared for this question. So I
No,
do
you're good.
a few positives of social media. There's some good positives, of course. Is if when you document your like my career, obviously triathlon's my career. It's easy to like
Hmm.
go back and then see the highs and the lows, um, and see like what's happened in a year. So that's what's nice about Instagram and social media is it's like a little time warp, and you can go back and see just how far you've come or maybe haven't come or how far you've changed.
Mm.
So what's happened in the year? Well, let's see, in November was I done with the season? I was almost done with the season.
You were almost done.
I think I had
You
just
had
had
one more
Indian
race.
Wells and Ecuador. So those
Hmm.
obviously it was like a great way to end the 2023 season.
Hmm.
And then I feel like this year's just been kind of good, but kind of rough at the same time. Obviously, I wanted a lot
Yeah.
more from results. I wanted to do much better in the T100 series. I only got one race opportunity, but wanted much more from that. But I can't say it's been bad. Like obviously, Beijing Tri got second there. I won my
Hmm.
first 70.3. I'm in Bustleton. ready for Worlds. I'm pretty much healthy. I think the Achilles issue that I battled this whole year was a bit of a downer. I also think
Mm-hmm.
I was able to get a lot stronger in other ways. And I've been good with that just my whole career is like not focusing on the negatives. It's you focus on what you can control and focus on where you can get better when one aspect of your career, one aspect of your life isn't going so well. There's always ways to get better.
Mm-hmm.
So focused on the
Yeah.
swim, focused on strength, focused on obviously getting the Achilles healed up and where I can get better, faster, more aero. Obviously, I did wind tunnel testing as well this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really can't think of anything specific, but it's been pretty good. And I think if I race well here, these last two races, I will call it a really successful year. And if not, then I know that I have this great crew around me. Like obviously we met for the first time in Tucson. You came and trained with me. I've met so many cool people this year. I
Yeah.
got a nephew and then family now. I got awesome family. I got the Real Tri Squad. I got like so many people that I've met this year, and so that won't change regardless of the races that I have. And I'm grateful, very,
Yeah.
very grateful for the sponsors and the family and all those people that, regardless of my results, are still in my corner. And that's kind of what
Mm.
makes me like thrive and able to be so optimistic and have this mindset and just able to just like focus on what I need to focus on and not focus on the things that would like be a detractor because I have those people in my corner.
Mm. Yeah, good unpacking. So when we're talking about like the yearly cycle that most professional athletes go through, especially I guess specifically triathletes I have most experience with and talking to you guys, there's like this yearly reset where you're looking at sponsors again. You're trying to
Mhm.
figure out, where does my value lie? How much money do I ask for? You're negotiating, you're signing contracts, and ultimately, like you need to survive and hopefully thrive.
Mhm.
For you, like you went from year one moving into this section of like long course, middle distance long course, triathlon. From a year ago to a year today, as you're trying to figure out like how to negotiate, how does that affect like an athlete in terms of like how you view your own value? Like, are you able to separate that pretty good to where it doesn't bother you too much, and or does it hurt? Like, oh, I'm not getting as much money as I want, so am I valuable? Like, you understand my question?
Yeah, I do. It's tough. I think that's actually the hardest thing for me. And I obviously have Nick Chase helping me. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, the negotiation process is somewhat stressful, I'd say, just because it is your livelihood. Um, but for me, it's been nice because I try my best to have a good relationship with all my sponsors. I never want that to have an agent or to have someone who like is in who cuts away that relationship with I have with the sponsor. And I think that's where agents get a bad rep, is because some agents just are that like bulldog and they don't and the sponsor doesn't get to have that relationship with the athlete anymore. So I know I'll
Hmm.
never have that in the way just because I wouldn't let it. Like I wouldn't want an agent who doesn't let me or a sponsor who only wants to talk to the agent. I'm always having
Right.
that conversation as well. But obviously with the negotiations that I want that to fall more on the agent because I just don't like doing it. The agent has a better idea of
Hmm.
what the worth is of the athlete, I think. Um,
Yeah.
but also, yeah, it is tough because it's that balance, and you gotta know what you can bring. Um, and the shift, these dogs, the shift is definitely
It's all right.
is that fine? That's not too bad.
It's fine.
The shift is
People will laugh at it.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll stop now though, because they'll probably hear me. They're hearing me talk. Anyways, so like the shift for sponsors is still like to that influencer, the person who has the crazy amount of followers. So they're
Yeah.
in the sports world in triathlon, you'll get a lot of those people still getting the best deals, the best products. Um, and then there's the top couple percent of the pros who nowadays also have the best Instagram. So for me, a goal next year is having a better uh in like social media, and that is going to be an investment for me. So I was adding a lot of that
Hmm.
into my contracts as like social media days or marketing budget, uh, um, that's separate from like the salary. because to me that's as good as a
Mm,
salary because I want to do it anyways, and I see it as an
right.
investment that's gonna just like again, like we're saying, snowball, um, and help me reach more people, you get better content for sponsors, and then get the content that they want. And
So
I think they
really quick,
appreciated
I just
that.
want to, yeah. I just want to interrupt you. When you're saying like a budget, like you're saying, okay, here's my salary, but I need, let's just say $2,500 a quarter or a year to like go and shoot and do this specific thing. Is that what you're
Yeah,
referring
yeah,
to?
exactly. So,
Oh, that's a
s
good idea.
yeah. So instead of, like, asking and I think they appreciate it because it's really specific, like, "This is what I'm
Yeah.
gonna use it for." Instead of it, like, putting that into the salary, it's, "Alright, here's X for the salary, but I would like 3 photo shoot days to be covered." And then that I think they appreciate that because 'cause they'll get the exact content they want, I'll get the content, and it's just a win-win for everyone.
Hmm. Yeah. Do you have to like show the expense reports for that budget, or they
Yeah,
just
I'm
allocate
sure.
the
Yeah,
cash?
yeah. So how it worked for, one company was I just like, it was just an invoice, and I just had a budget. They gave me, let's say $3,000 for, um, the marketing expense, and
Hmm.
then I would just yeah, whatever is if it was covered by it, then that's fine. If it wasn't, then I'm on the hook for the rest. Um, but I think I'll be adding that to a lot of my sponsors because it's just like it is a win-win, like I keep saying, and then they'll help
Yeah.
me keep getting like professional content. But I think the hardest thing for me as far as growing and staying organic is just I don't know what people want to like. I don't know what people want to know about me or what people want to know about the triathlon world. So I'm always split. Like,
Hmm.
just get stuff out there, just get out there, and people who want to listen, people who want to follow will follow. And that's kind of where I'm leaning now. Like, don't be scared about putting something out there. Like if someone doesn't want to follow you or they don't like it, it's fine. But someone might, and then that's the people you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like your personality is your brand, and
Hmm.
being who you are, the way that you are, the way that you talk, the way that you interact with people, like that's what people latch onto. And for anybody who doesn't latch onto it, then oh,
Yeah,
good.
yeah. See
You
you
don't have to do
later.
anything special.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
hey,
Adios.
yeah,
I'll follow.
and I know I'm like so much better in person. So one thing that was really special to me just recently was Zoot flew Nick and I out to Kona. We were part of the Zoot team experience, or team
Yeah.
Zoot experience in a way. Like we were there for all the Zoot activities. We were there for Jackson, obviously, who competed. But
Hmm.
it was just so much fun and just actually meant a lot to me to have them think that we were like that we would bring value to Zoot,
Yeah.
to Team Zoot. And that was just really fun. Obviously, I got there and was supporting everyone else who, like all the friends racing, got to preview the course because I hopefully will be there eventually. But that was kind of just a highlight of the past few months of Zoot, a sponsor of Real Tri Squad. And yeah, so hopefully other sponsors can see that I have that value as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
in person, I think is where I'd still rather be better at than social media. Even though the social media gives you that reach to thousands and thousands of more people.
Yeah. Do you think that the negatives and the outweigh the positives for social media, or do you think the positives outweigh the negatives?
I think the positives definitely outweigh the negatives, but it depends on who you talk to, and what they're like, what they're it's a tool, and tools can be used
Hmm.
for the positive as well as a negative, like death scrolling. Me saying that that's market research, like that's obviously not helping anything. But if I'm
Yeah.
able to use it as a tool to connect with my community, as a tool to get even tips on like how to connect, how to um, get out there, and like we're doing the Instagram live, and I feel like it's hasn't gotten a ton of traction, but we're getting like
Hmm.
1,000 to 2,000 views. I'm not sure how long through they're watching, but stuff like that, and we're no one else is really doing that, so I think it's
Yeah, man.
definitely a positive.
Yeah. No, I enjoy it. Yeah, I really do enjoy it. And I think social media, the positives can outweigh the negatives. I think it also depends on who you are. Like for some people who sit on the only the receiving end, like you said, the doom scrolling type, I think really if you're not putting something into it that's authentic of yourself, then I think that it really can be more of a negative because a lot of people they just see it, they'll compare themselves or their lives to that. not knowing all of the ins and outs, what's going on the other side, and then they'll go walk away and feel like, oh man, I have nothing to offer, or like, oh, I'm so far behind in life. But it's so not true. Like we're all on this journey, and it's crazy because I've talked to people who are literal hundreds of millions, millionaires. And at the end of the day, like they're still the same human beings that you and I are, and
Hmm.
they're just trying to figure out how to spend more time with their family and how to not have their life run by something. Because I've met people who are millionaires and they're literally miserable, horribly miserable, and then other people who like are even use my mom as an example. She's not like dirt poor by any means, and I love my mom to death, and she does great. She actually works for me on some projects, but like she's more happy, I think, than most people,
Hmm.
and she doesn't have like a ton, and I think that's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
So
comparison
there's my fun.
is the dangerous part about social about in any aspect, I guess. Um,
Yeah.
that I think that's where people could definitely get better, and I've obviously gotten good at it. Is like people, a lot of people will just post it's like the facade, like it's just literally
Hmm.
just one snapshot, probably all the just positives, and that's why I'm team Lionel and team. There's a few other people who share just every aspect. Like Lionel is so open about everything, and
Hmm.
that's why I think he's just so good for the sport and such a good personality. And um, like he is just the highs, the lows, everything, injuries. He's sharing it, and I think that's
Hmm.
so good. What
Yeah.
Talbot and Lionel do for triathlon, it's good. He's fun to, and that's why he's fun to follow.
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah. I would have to agree. Since we did you had you met him, I guess, a few times before I met him when I was with you in Tucson when we went swimming. Do you even remember that morning?
I think I maybe have just met him just once. He was at Aqua Bear, so and I think I went once or twice before you came, maybe.
Okay.
I don't go to
Yeah.
those swims often, even though they are really fun. But yeah, not really too much interaction with him. But yeah, maybe this winter in Tucson we'll get some more swimming in. I'll be going back.
Yeah. You are for sure going back?
Yeah, for sure going back. I'm not sure for how long, but I'm definitely going back.
I'm gonna have to drive out there. I need to look and see how far away Tucson is from
That's a
here.
hike. Reading to Oro Valley. Probably I'm gonna
Yeah.
guess and say 20, yeah, 20. Wait, you're Northern California, so like I'm gonna say 20
Yeah.
hours, 18 hours.
It's 15 hours and 48 minutes.
Okay, could be
So
worse.
yeah, I'll fly.
Yeah, I would fly too. That would suck.
Yeah. So I want to ask you a little bit about the businessy side of Mark, because me and you, we've had some conversations about different things that you are interested in, want to do. So there's a couple topics I'd love to dive into a little
Yeah,
bit, but
let's
I
do
know
it.
that you're interested in the potential of doing some real estate.
Mm.
So what in your world, like what does that look like, and what does success for you look like if you were able to jump into that arena?
Oh yeah, yeah. We've talked about this quite a bit, right? Uh, the goal is to have uh, like a triathlon camp, a house
Hmm.
with a guest house, a house with whatever, a barndorium, um, to host camps, clinics, whatever it is. That would be awesome. Like Boulder would be perfect, I think. But obviously expensive. Tucson or Oro Valley, obviously good for the winter. In North America, there's not many places to train. Tucson is one of the popular ones. Arizona in general.
Hmm.
So that would be the goal. And I think I'm always thinking about what am I wanting to do and what can I do post trial and post competing. Because I know
Hmm.
this career is not going to last. So what can I do to springboard off of like the connections I make, the people I make, maybe my image, my hopefully like likeness and all this stuff. And
Hmm.
I thought it would be so much fun to have a like triathlon camp where I can do that now, where I can do it after. Um, so yeah, we've been talking about how is this feasible, and it's a lot of money, but it'd be really fun.
What steps need to happen for like that to happen? Like, is that something that you want to make happen like in the next 6 months, or is this something
Uh,
that's like,
yeah,
probably a
I
little
guess I
further
need
down?
it. No, I don't. I mean, if I get someone who listens to your podcast who wants to toss up
Give
some
you a million
money,
bucks?
I think that's the biggest hurdle is the money for sure. How could it not
Yeah,
be? I think it's more than $1 million if you do it in Boulder.
yeah. Well, yeah, I guess so. I mean, depending on how you do it, you could finance it.
Yeah.
You could, if you're going to charge monthly, like you take out a mortgage, rates are starting to come down. Who knows what's going to happen after Trump takes office and all of the just who knows? I
Yeah.
really have no idea what's going to
And
happen.
this stemmed from
But
me like slowly wanting to have a home base because I'm still leased. It's like right now, I don't, my stuff's in my car. I have my bike in Danilo and Victoria's house. But other than that, when
Mhm.
I'm done in New Zealand, I'm going home to Chicago with my family, but I don't have a lease anywhere. This was always like, how do I fund or afford a home? And was like, okay, well, I think it'd be really cool. I feel like there's a need for triathlon camps and or a place this like big groups to come in to train. And there's
Mhm.
also like this company where like you can pay to train with a pro. It's like some sort of like you ride with them and they'll be like your tour
Okay,
guide in
nice.
an area. So okay,
Yeah.
it's like similar to that, I could train with them. But we can bring in like a bike fitter. We can bring in if we get like an endless pool sponsor, like some of the triathletes are sponsored by um
Yeah.
whatever that company is. So we do like swim evaluations in the pool in the house. Um
Effortless swimming.
Effortless, yeah, that guy, super nice. But the pools, I feel like what's the spa? Master Spa. They sponsor, I'm doing this because it's like the endless
Yeah,
pool.
yeah.
They sponsor
Yeah.
like Tim O'Donnell or Tim
Yeah.
O'Donnell
Tim Dom.
and Ben and maybe Ben Hoffman, Ben Canute, Ben Hoffman. So it'd be pretty sweet.
Okay. Yeah. I actually, as we're talking about this, I want to introduce you to one of my friends because he has this property that he purchased with an investor out in Kingman, Arizona,
Mm.
and they're building this thing that they're calling the Oasis, but
Yeah,
it's
this
A
Project
W
Podium
A
went
S
to
S
it.
S.
The Project Podium
No,
team went to it.
what?
Yeah, it's already open.
This is something
There's
different.
already some open.
What do you? I no way. I'm thinking of something different. What are you thinking of?
The
What is it called?
Well, Project Podium, the like development US team that's
Yeah,
in Scottsdale or they're in Tempe and then they go to Park City. They went to this
yeah.
one and it's got like a little cycling track. It's got a pool. It's in the middle of
Oh,
nowhere
really?
though.
And it's called a Oasis.
It sounds like it is. I don't. Maybe there's two of these now coming up.
Well, I haven't heard of that, but that's interesting. I'm gonna have to look it up
Yeah.
because my buddy, they started this thing in Kingman, Arizona called Oasis, AWASIS, but it's like
How do you spell
you
it?
pay a bunch of money,
A.
AWASIS. It's like brand new. I don't even think that their website's finished. Like they're still working with contractors to finish everything on the grounds, but it's like you stay in these like super fancy rooms slash yurts out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh
There's
dang.
lots of ice baths and saunas, and
Yeah, this doesn't
you
sound
come
like
there and
what
take
they
like
went
fitness
to.
classes.
Wonder if they're
Yeah.
neighbors.
Yeah, they might be. I mean, it's not like a super novel idea to do something like this, but everybody has their own spin on it. But I want to introduce you to him. His name's Jared
Yeah, that'd be
because
awesome.
I feel like you guys could, or it would just like to spit the possibilities of like doing something like that where it's like professional athlete focused. You could have people sign up to come and do this, where you kind of like you said, there's training involved, or like
Hmm.
you do like I don't know 1 or 2 sessions a day with them. The easy stuff just for fun, and kind of create that community aspect where you can bring like the elite level athletes, and then the people who come to experience this, like they would be the funders of this thing, and then you could block it out for periods of time when you're doing like long term training camps and whatnot.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. No, that'd be
I'll introduce
awesome.
you to him.
And that's
Yeah,
um yeah, that'd be fun. And in the winter, like Boulder, it's not like people don't come to Boulder in the winter. I mean, we're not
yeah,
super close to skiing, but we're not far. Um
yeah.
Same with cross country skiing. So like it would still be usable, I think, for camps, maybe not triathlon, but other camps
Hmm.
in the fall, winter. Actually the fall is actually perfect in Boulder still for triathlon, but uh maybe it turns into like a good cycling development place as well.
Yeah.
Like if you get weight rooms in there, just I feel like anything, yeah. The limit does not exist.
That's right, exactly. So one way you could also fund this is this brand that has kind of popped up, the Mark the Shark. So what are you doing? I know that there, like Ursula was working with you on making some gear, maybe like
Yeah.
some different stuff. Is that still happening? And when can we buy that
Yeah.
stuff?
In the works still. Just need to pull the trigger on what gear. Maybe we'll just start with like shirts and maybe a sweatshirt. Start small and see what it's like. I'm not sure if you saw that NV and we're still working on like my official logo. I'm not sure if you saw that Envy shark logo from Kona.
No, I didn't.
Okay, it's this awesome shirt, and Envy is like built into the shark. Like the shark is, it says Envy.
Yeah.
And I loved that logo. That's kind of how I wanted Mark the Shark to be. Similar. So just finalizing the logo. What do you think? What do you think I should go with? Shirts, hats, keep it simple,
Yeah,
bottles.
lowest barrier to entry. I mean, a shirt to start because it's accessible. The price
Yeah.
ranges, anybody can jump on board that, and you can link that to your Instagram story to a Shopify page, and we could do that overnight.
Yeah.
Like,
So that'd be awesome. I'd
yeah,
love to do that. If people wanna cheer me on and then support me, that'd be great. Mark the
yeah,
Shark. Obviously I looked into the pancakes. That's one of my weekly, well, yeah, I do it multiple times a week, is flip a nice
shark
pancake, start,
mix.
yeah. Um, so I was thinking that'd be fun. But Mark the Shark, I love how it's gotten some traction, and we'll see. I
Who
mean,
started it?
I actually don't have a good story. I need to make up a better story, about how how I fought off the shark and showed it who's boss. No,
But where did you first hear it? Like, where
I don't,
was it?
honestly, I
A
don't know.
commentator or something?
I don't know. Like, I feel like maybe my grandpa, for some reason, used to call me
Really?
Speedy. I would just be zooming around the house,
Mm-hmm.
like little kid with just so much energy, and that's why my parents like put me in sports. Was just like he needs like get out of the house, like, use all of his energy out. Um, and I think part of it like was just my swim background coming into long course. It translate my
Yeah.
swim just translates really well in open water, and I guess I'm one of the better swimmers, so I think that's part of it too. I'm far from the best swimmer. Hopefully, we'll always make front group. I don't know about far from the best swimmer, but like there's plenty of people better than me in swimming. Um, I also what I wanted to stand for is more of like a mindset thing. And I fall back on like these cues and these tricks to like help me overcome whether it's something happens in a race or whatever it is. So that's kind of what I wanted to stand for more, is like not
Mm.
putting a barrier on yourself, not holding yourself back, or being getting anxious about, oh, that's a magpie. Sorry. That
I've never
is
seen
a
one, so please
magpie, I
show me.
think. Tell me if I'm wrong, or is that just a crow?
I can't really tell because I don't know birds and it's a little blurry.
It's
But go
big.
catch it and bring it up.
It's huge.
Are you like
He's not
walking
moving.
to
You
it?
see it? Yeah.
No, it's like such
He's not
bad,
afraid.
like grainy. Oh no, I see it. I see it now. Wow, it's not afraid. It's gonna eat your face.
I think so.
For those who can't see, Mark is carrying his computer to the magpie out in the yard. So
I
we're
don't know
having
if it is
a
a
little
magpie
Nat
or
Geo
not.
moment.
Alright, sorry. I'm back.
No, it's
Magpie's
totally
watching
fine.
me now.
It,
I don't know if that
yeah.
is a magpie or not.
Yeah, Google it. Let me. Is it like white and black?
Yeah.
Magpie bird.
No, it's not a magpie. It's just a crow. It looks, wait, no, it is.
No, it is a magpie because it has like
Yeah.
that blue tail feather,
That's for
whitish
sure what it is.
underwing and top wing, and then black.
Yeah, so they'll attack you. They're super territorial. Have you been, like a red-winged blackbird? Have you seen
Oh
those in the
yeah, I
States?
love the. Yeah,
They'll like
we have
sit
them all over
on,
Tennessee.
in the Midwest, they just sit on the electrical wires, and when you're running or riding, they'll just fly over you and get mad at you.
Mm-hmm.
And then like you get past their like territory, and then those next ones they're ready to fight you. But these ones are like pretty aggressive, and they'll actually like hit your helmet and like hit your back on the
Oh
ride,
my word.
and they're smart.
Yeah, I have seen some of the crazy videos, even crows, but like using
I mean, this
sticks
looks like a
to as
crow.
tools.
It's big.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, if you want to eat well tonight, you could catch it and
yeah, they're
fry it up.
protected.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah.
Tough.
So,
Tough.
um,
Well, go back to what you were saying before, because like that was really interesting with
yeah,
the,
sorry, we took a really
like the
bad
mindset
it's
of it.
time for me. It was like a bad time to take a tangent. Um, but yeah, I would love for Mark the Shark to be more of like, for me, it is a mindset thing. Um, like I was saying, it could be because of the swim where it started, but what I want it to stand for is, yeah, like a mindset with, it's like a growth, like sort of like a growth mindset. If you've read about that, It's like what you choose to
Mhm.
focus on and that frame of mind you have is so important, and it takes practice, just like training. So for me, like I feel like like the easiest way for me to stay positive in any circumstance is saying like it's good practice. It's good practice. You
Mm.
forget your goggles break, your whatever, and this happens. This can be for anything. As simple as like um race day, like whatever it is, whatever you have to overcome. It's good practice. That's like to me that is
Mhm.
positive. You use that whatever happened as a way to just be ready for it for the next time. You don't focus on, oh, my race is over, I dropped my nutrition, I'm done. No, it's good practice. I'll get through this, figure out what you need to do, grab nutrition at the next aid station. All right, now you're more prepared if that happens again next time. So yeah, I want it to be a mindset thing and not putting like a barrier on yourself before like if something bad happened, don't count yourself out. That's another big one. Like in
Mm.
Beijing, for example, my bike did not make it. Um,
Mhm.
I think a lot of people what some of the other athletes told me, like, "Mark, how are you in such a good mood? How are you functioning right now? Like, your bike's not here. It's not gonna make it." I'm like, "Well, I did everything I possibly could to get my bike to Beijing, did
Mhm.
everything I could to figure out if it's gonna make it, all this stuff, and got this rental bike, and that's it. Like, that's what I got. So, there's no
Mm.
reason to be in a bad mood and to let it ruin all the other parts of the trip. Like, I didn't wanna be in a bad mood. And that's a big pet peeve of mine is that person who just brings down the crowd, brings down the people around them because something happened to them, and now they're, like, just bringing down everyone else. Um, so what I just didn't let it get in the way. I was, "Alright, this is what I got. This is what I'm dealt. I'm gonna do everything I can to succeed and to still chase my goals." Like, obviously, this is my career, so, like, that's another way I just not ground myself, but get myself motivated is, like, I don't have the money, I don't have the time to let this be an excuse for me. Like, Beijing was
Mm.
a huge prize purse, I came all the way over there. I don't have the time and the money to put something in my way, or else I'm just not gonna make it in this sport.
Mm. Yeah, that's a really good mindset, man, because I think it's really hard, especially for people who have, like, higher ambitions and achieving aspirations because, once the things fall out of our control. I know I'm speaking kind of personal experience here. Like when I want to do well in something, as soon as it falls out of my control, the temptation is to kind of freak out and get all upset. But it is a freeing thing because once things do go south or whatever the situation is, if you just realize like, yeah, I can't control the situation, things get a lot better and you can have more of a perspective and a calm. So, for example, like today, I hope this isn't illegal, but this is going to be airing in December, so I'll just say it. But for the thing that actually pays my bills, like I do consulting and helping run this small team, run this operations for this small team that does real estate. And there was someone who we had hired 3.5 weeks ago. And typically, when I hire someone, no matter what I'm doing, like we'll do like a dating period of like 4 weeks, and then we'll shoot for whatever the end of the dating period is. At the end of that, maybe we'll raise pay, whatever it is. Anyway, long story short, this person, it was pretty apparent to me after like week 2 that it just wasn't going to work out, and then I had to have a conversation um, with that person, like letting them know, like, hey, like it's not going to work out. I'm so sorry, and it's so hard to do. I mean, it's hard to be fired and let go. Don't get me wrong, but to like prepare myself for that situation was pretty difficult because I knew if it didn't go well, it's out of my control and up to what I can say. And I didn't do everything perfectly, but the person got really defensive and angry, and like the temptation was to like throw it back in their face and do all these other things. But you just realize like, well, you know what? I don't have any control, and but being able to like disconnect from that is really important, I think. Is that the magpie like just
That's the
singing a song out
magpie.
there?
It's really close now.
Oh my God. It's like coming to
It's
eat you,
coming to
bro.
eat me, dude.
It's gonna jump.
I don't like it. Oh man, it's just
Excuse me, I'm having a cough.
no. That was and do you believe that like putting yourself in certain stressful situations though? I mean, you didn't put yourself in there, like you needed to do it. But I think that stress, like
Mm,
people need to do that more as well. be scared,
Yeah.
put themselves in like not stressful situations, but like
And opportunities to grow, like
yeah,
things that make you
exactly.
uncomfortable.
And again, I think that is that mindset because there are so many opportunities to grow in every whatever you do. Um,
Yeah.
but it just can't. I'll be right back.
Okay. So right now, Mark is running away from the camera. He's uh, it. It sounds like he might be getting into a tussle with this magpie. I don't know what's happening.
Chasing.
That's so funny. You better be careful. That thing's gonna like jump on you mid interview. It's gonna be
I
hilarious.
know. We'll get it on camera at least.
Interrupted by
All
the
right, he's
magpie. Oh,
gone.
are you still there? Can you hear
It
me?
made a cool sound though, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm back. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Okay. Yeah, I can.
Oh, he's
But
back.
to
All
comment
right,
on what you were saying, it's fine.
you go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say with what you were saying previously around the topic of putting yourself in those situations. Like I grew up in a life where quite a few like really not great situations were um, befell me, I guess, or like were put in my path. And I really am now at this point in my life thankful for those moments because it enabled me the ability to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, moving
Mhm.
frequently, making new friends. Like there's positives and negatives for sure, but being able to take a step back and say like, you know what, like this is gonna be uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. This is gonna be uncomfortable. How can I be comfortable in that situation? Like, yeah, that's a good mindset. So maybe you need to like do like a Mark the Shark logo on the front of the shirt, and then on the back you list like the 7 tenets of what
Hmm.
the shark mindset is, or
I
something
like
like
that.
that.
That's a really good idea, actually. I was gonna do like "It's all good practice" was the slogan on the back or something.
I like it. Mm-hmm.
Just like the bare bones, like if all it's raining, it's you just lost your job, like that's a bad example. If it, like for training, let's say it's raining, it's you're tired, you didn't sleep well, like
Yeah.
it's good practice. Like just get out the door. It's good practice in the rain. It's good practice when you're tired. What if you're tired or you didn't sleep well at the race? All this stuff. Like it's good practice. But I like what you said.
Mm.
I actually do have a question for you. Because it's like I'm still trying to figure out a good way to explain how like because the mental side of the sport, the mental side of everything is it's hard. It's hard for people. It's just you got to train it, just like you
Mm.
do triathlon or some whatever you're doing. You got to work on it. How would you? When did you learn? Like figure out how to step back, and how did you appreciate like those hard times when you were younger? At what point did you just decide, or in your mind, you're like, oh, you know what? That made me better. That made me stronger in a certain way. Like,
Mm.
how would you explain that to someone, or how would you explain that in a way that like
Like how to get to that point.
yeah, how do you get to that point? Because that's hard for me to explain to someone because I don't know when I got to that point. Like, how did
Hmm.
I just didn't have this good mindset about things. Like, still fall into that trap of
Yeah.
like when you're tired, like your mind just plays games on you. So I just tell myself, oh, my mind's
Hmm.
playing games on me. But I guess, do you have what do you fall to, or how would you explain that to someone?
Yeah, I think for me, there's a few things that had to kind of the seeds had to be planted before that perspective could arrive. So I can walk through them because I have thought a lot about this actually. Um, First of all, you have to have a desire to want to change, to have like a better life, and I think that really comes down to um, seeing the kindness that other people have given you, recognizing that kindness, being grateful for it, and then asking yourself like, well, what can I do to like give that back? And then once that mindset of like kind of humbleness, a desire for better, it doesn't mean you have to have like your life all put together. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I think specifically coming from like a Christian background, like I really started to ask myself, well, what does that actually look like? And what can I do like to change the desires that currently sit in the driver's seat of my emotions and my actions? So for very practically speaking, I like had that idea, like, well, I do want something better because man, in college and high school, I was going after just the girls. I dated, the prettiest ones I could find, and that's all I cared about. I just wanted this thing, and it was all about messing around, just playing video games, all of my, and it's very typical teenager stuff, but I would say mine was a little more intense. But then, after I realized, like, well, that's not the way, because I'm sad all the time. People don't like me, or I have a lot of, reputational issues and early in my college career. And I realized, like, well, I need a change. And I think once I kind of realized that there was going to be a change, I'm condensing this down. So there's a lot of other things. But one thing that's always stood with me is I was going out to eat with this group of people who I would consider like really good people I typically wouldn't hang out with because they didn't smoke, they didn't drink, they didn't, go party and do all that stuff. And we were walking up to this restaurant establishment in the parking lot, and these two girls in front of me who I really looked up to, one of them I may have slightly had a crush on, we were walking, and then she stopped. One of the girls, her name was Chelsea. She stopped. She turned around, walked back because I was like maybe 10 paces behind her. She walked toward me, and then she bent down and picked up this piece of trash that was in the parking lot. And I was like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, I walked past this piece of trash, and I thought like maybe I should pick it up, and I didn't. But then I realized no, I really should pick it up." So she picked it up. We walked into the restaurant. She threw it away. And like I had an epiphany in that moment. I realized like if I do want to change my life, I need to practice these very small inconvenience, like value add to society things. And once I started doing that, like I could never walk past a piece of trash. I mean, sometimes you're in like a really bad place and you literally can't carry it all. So, but it's the principle of if you think you should do something because it's good or it's noble, it's in your power to act. If you do that thing, then like that will kind of reinforce that part of the brain where it becomes easier to do bigger and better things, I guess. And you'll start to notice like, oh, like that's a small piece of trash on the road, but here's a big piece of trash in this person's life or in my life that I need to deal with. So it just widens that perspective. So I think that's the beginning of it. And then really, man, like that happened to me when I was 20. I was just about to go overseas for a year. It wasn't probably until I was like my 25 where I started to really be able to step back and look at the things that I'd gone through, with my dad, committing suicide, with, the sexual molestation stuff that from my past and all of that, to where I could say like, you know what, I have an opportunity to live a better life. I know what the things that were done wrong to me. Unfortunately, those are out of my control now. But now I can realize that through those hard times, if you go under that stress and you don't break and you reinforce the hard times with like a bandage of good people, a bandage of smart time that you've spent, a bandage with, maybe for some people it is religion, whatever it is. Like that is what really prepares for that long-term mindset. Yeah, so that's kind of my
you explained
sermon.
it super well, and that makes so much sense. And I like what you said about the bandage, like got stronger from all of that, gave you such a good perspective. I couldn't explain it any better. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, that was a good question. I think that's what's really fun about these round 2 interviews that I've started doing is because it gives the opportunity for I'm trying to give the opportunity for other people to ask a little bit of questions or for the conversation to be a little more two-way. Because I do like the first having someone on and asking them tons of questions and just like getting stuff out. But it's also fun to do these round 2 once you build a little rapport with someone.
Yeah, a little give and take. And then we almost talk. I mean, we talk like almost every day in a way, like definitely every week.
Yeah.
Obviously with the roulette lives, but that was such a good answer. Sorry, I'm like slightly distracted because these things I just have like such a reputation here, and now he's going to my flank, like he's going to my blind side.
He's coming up on you. He's like, all right, I'm gonna wait for him to get into a really good point, and I'm just gonna dive bomb him.
Exactly. He's making the weirdest noises.
Yeah, they're beautiful birds. I can, yeah. But
all right, I need to focus. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good, man. So I'll ask just a couple more questions because we're coming up on an hour, and honestly, my voice is like not wanting to participate. I keep having to mute my microphone to cough. So for you, now that going back to the Mark the Shark thing just for a second, people have started to latch onto that. And no matter what happens, I think more people are going to continue to latch onto that and kind of hear the term and, as you race, gain prominence, whatever it is. I think that's something that, more people will repeat for you, because swimming has always been your strength. And I would imagine you don't spend a lot of time stressing about like how to be like way better, probably as much compared to like the bike and the run. I'm just assuming. If that's true, um, how does that play into like your self-confidence and your, how do I say it? The way that you kind of put pressure or feel pressure to perform to that level. Because like Mark the Shark, he's going to be first out of the water or very close to the front, you know?
Yeah, not too much pressure. It was funny because in Oceanside, which was like the first big race of this year, this guy Magnus, is a German guy, Magnus Manor. He actually posted,
Mm-hmm.
um, maybe it was after the race. He goes, his nickname is the Pike. He goes, Pike greater than Shark. Maybe it was before the race, and I just thought it was
Mm-hmm.
really funny, and I messaged him, I was like, "Yeah, probably." So anyways, I am totally fine not leading out of a swim. Actually, I'd prefer not to lead out of a swim. It's conserve the energy, and that's because one, would rather have a better end result, um, like the finishing result, and you just conserve energy. And if people want to beat me out of the water, go for it. I'm gonna sit on your feet and conserve energy. You can take that little
Mm-hmm.
win. I'll take the win at the end of the race. Um, and I guess with the new waves, like this next year, there's gonna be a lot of other short course athletes coming in. So you'll see that like
Mm-hmm.
even more so, I won't be as good of a swimmer in like the race, but that's fine. Like as long as I'm at the front and conserving, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, not much pressure to be Mark the Shark. A lot of that again is because it's just for me, it won't ever make or break my race probably unless you see a really big shift in the swimming. And we're like a separation. You want to be towards the front just because the bike, like the dynamic of a pro race right now, like big swim groups, big bike groups, or they'll splinter, but big swim groups and then they'll splinter on the bike. So you got to be ready to push on the bike right away. Um,
Mm.
so that's where I'll always that's why I hold the reins in because I still have a lot of work to do on the bike. So I'd maybe put a little pressure on the swim simply so I'm in the right position for the bike. Um, but other than that, not much. Mark the Shark doesn't, um, make me feel like I have to nail the swim, have to be first out of the water. Rather, yeah, have a better end result.
Yeah. Good. Good. That's good. That's encouraging. Well, once we do get off this call, but I need to. I like want to help you get this figured out so we can send some merch out there, and I want to
Yeah,
buy some. I know other people do too. Like we need to make that happen.
I am for sure getting Mark the Shark water bottles as well.
Nice.
So yeah, that'd be great. And then we will talk off, but I was talk off the camera. Maybe we won't spill the beans too much, but that other thing I was talking about that goes on top of
Mm-hmm.
the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to do
Mm-hmm.
like some real like cliffhangers here for people. You know, the other
Yeah.
product we were
Dun,
talking
dun,
about
dun.
that people would love that
Yeah.
they
I
should
remember.
check out in the next few months. Yeah.
We'll make sure to post about it. Well, sorry. Oh man, this is all I'm literally gonna be able to ask. Okay, one last question. What advice would you give to yourself 1 year ago?
Mm, 1 year ago. See, that's like not that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Take all the time you need to
yeah,
think
yeah.
about it.
If you say 2 years ago, 3 years ago, can I change your question?
Yeah, do it.
Because I am just like so grateful for um like the people I've met in the past year, 2 years, really like since switching from short course to long course, um, and joining Real Tri Squad. I've just been overwhelmed with like the community that we have around Real Tri Squad. Like I met you because of Real Tri Squad. I felt like in a way because
Mm-hmm.
you started going through some of the doing them on the podcast. And I'm just so grateful for those people that I have met in the last year or 2 years. And I will always just continue to and I'm hoping I bring like a positive part to that too. Just like keep meeting people and bringing them into the community, meet their community. Because right now I go to these races. I'm in Australia and I know so many people and I love it. I just love meeting new people. and just sharing time with old friends, whatever it is. So I guess if you were to ask me that question for 2 years ago, 3 years ago, what I'd tell myself is just keep being yourself, keep trying to meet new people, surround yourself with like-minded people that are driven, bring something positive to you, or maybe you can help them with something, get through times, get through something hard, help them train, help them chase a goal, whatever it is. Just keep doing that. Just meet new people.
Beautiful. Well, Mr. Marc Dubrick, this is going to be airing on December 12th, so I guess we can go ahead and just tell everybody to have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. But thank you so much for coming on and being the, I guess, really season finale. I'm going to take a 4-week break, so we'll be back in January, 12-ish, whenever that is. Make sure to check the schedule. I'm sure I'll announce it on Instagram and whatnot. But
well, I'm honored to
thank
be
you so
the
much for
last
coming on, dude.
episode. Thanks for having me again. Hopefully, whoever's listening enjoys this. I'll see you in like a week, which I'm super excited about.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, thanks for having me. I absolutely love listening to your podcast, so it's nice to come back for round 2.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Thank you so much to Marc for coming on for this season finale episode number 109. Just really appreciate him coming on and getting to share some cool stories and the magpie situation. That was quite funny. Yeah, thank you guys so much for being a part of this journey. We have made it to almost 110 episodes. So that 110th episode is going to be coming out about mid-January. Make sure to check that out. We're going to be taking that 4-week break, as I mentioned at the beginning of the pod. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, reviewing. Any all those things do continue to help build this podcast audience, and you guys are great. Can't thank you enough, really, truly, and honestly. So happy New Year. Have a Merry Christmas, and we will catch you guys on the flip side of 2025.